Hello, my lovelies. So recently one of the group members reached out to me personally and wanted to add an anonymous question to the group, which is a really good question, and I wanted to answer it by video because, sometimes we just need to open up conversations about what happens if you're growing out of alignment with your partner. Or, as the question was posed to me, what happens if you're on the road to recovery, you're working really hard at keeping a positive vibration, and your partner or your spouse or someone that you've been with for a long time who you love dearly is just bringing negativity and toxicity into your path while you're trying to heal? And my answer to that is to just love them. And know that everyone is at a different place. And sometimes people who are really cynical, it's because there's a lot of deep pain inside and maybe they're not quite ready to step into that healing path with you. And I truly believe that the best thing that any of us can do when it concerns our growth and other people's, and really wanting to, sometimes we really want to bring our friends up with us. We really want everyone to thrive and be in a good place, especially when we're growing. We see how amazing it is to start doing spiritual work on ourselves and to go to workshops to work through some of our layers that aren't serving us anymore. And we feel clearer, we feel better, we feel more positive and uplifted. But someone in our life who we love is not on the same page and is dragging us down with their vibes. And this really happens. This happens to a lot of people. I've definitely had this experience in past relationships. And I really believe that the most positive thing that you can do is to continue to work on yourself. And sometimes that means that we need to cut cords energetically with people and say, like, I love you and I'm gonna work on myself. And we can stay in relationship with them, right? Like, we can still do our work. And I think that in a lot of cases, our partners or the people that are around us start to see our vibration and how shiny and positive we become, and they're attracted to that. They see the change, right? The best thing we can do is be the proof. To be the proof by showing up and making those changes so that our light burns brighter, so that we're more in alignment with our truth and what brings us joy. And sometimes that triggers other people. I'm not going to say like everyone's going to feel great and supportive. Some people get jealous and they don't know how to achieve that vibe without doing the work. Sometimes you attract energy vampires or people that really like what you're sharing or what you're doing, and they sort of like latch on and suck your energy, right? That happens to people too. But I think it's really important that when it comes to our paths, that we stay true to ourselves, that we get really clear about what we need, and it might be different than what someone else needs. And sometimes what someone needs is not what they're doing and it's not what's best for them, right? Sometimes people make unhealthy choices, right? Someone who has diabetes is still maybe going to eat foods that are going to flare up their blood sugar levels because they're just choosing to follow the cravings and follow maybe the parasites that they have physically that are making them crave those foods, or just saying, it's too hard to do the work, so I just rather eat the sugar and take my chances. So we have to really honor people for where they're at and really respect that people are going to grow on their own time. And I really truly believe the best thing we can do is work on ourselves, continue to bring the focus back to ourselves. And sometimes that means carving out some extra time, saying, hey, I need some me time, or leaving the house to go to the park and just sitting and doing our meditations and doing what we need. And, in some cases, what will happen is you'll find that, sorry, my arm's getting tired. I'm going to hold it with the other one. Sometimes what we find happens is that when we're going through these processes, we naturally outgrow some friendships and outgrow some relationships, totally real, totally serious. And it could be a marriage, it could be a long-term relationship that's really hard to step away from. I truly believe that a big part of that is that we graduate relationships, right? I never see things as breakups. I never like to frame it as, oh, he dumped me or I dumped him or her or whoever that is. It's really about learning the lessons that we can with one person. And if that person is not always willing to grow with us and support us in our growth, right? Sometimes it's really helpful to have someone who might not necessarily want to do all the same things as us, but is willing to support us because they see the value that the things that we do to better ourselves are good for us and healthy. So having someone on your side that supports you. And if someone's dragging you down, they're unsupportive, they're not willing to get on the boat, sometimes what's best is to see that as a graduation and take some space so that you can do the work that you need to do. The thought that's coming to me that's really real, I'm just going to share, is that sometimes people have negative entities and negative energies that are attached onto them. And so even as much as their higher self or the parts of them who actually want to grow and up level with you, want to meet you there, and then there's all that fear, right? The negative entities and energies that are hanging on to them, trying to pull them down from stepping into that power, creating a lot of fear and anxiety and blockages around stepping into that power. And at the end of the day, you can only be responsible for yourself. And when you really step into your power, you step into what's good for you, you become a light that shines bright as a beacon of hope for everyone, including yourself. So I'd say, I hear you. That's such a tough situation, especially when there's so much love. And I can hear in your share that there's just so much love for your partner. And of course you want them on board. Of course you want them to heal. Of course you want them to feel good and be on that road of recovery with you. And sometimes we just have to let other people be themselves and be free. And sometimes that means, like, I'm not saying physically leave the person. I think you'll know if that's your truth, then maybe you already know and you're just asking that question because sometimes it's nice to have external validation, but you're always gonna know the answer. You're always gonna know exactly what it is that you need. So just listen to yourself, listen to your gut, even if that means just cutting some energetic cords. Cutting some cords, meaning not having to cut the relationship off, but really taking back your power, calling back any cords or energy that you've given away to other people and returning anything that you might have put onto someone else and just cleaning that slate so that you can step away, do your meditations, do your work, and keep shining your light, girl. Dude, you got it. Keep shining that light. You know you're on a road to positive recovery for a reason, so step into that and don't let anyone hold you back from being you and shining your divine light. So I hear you. I have so much love for you. I have so much love for anyone who's dealing with this right now, right? It's like sucky to like have to grow, be super excited about your path and have someone who's a wet blanket. Like, no fucking fun. And I've had to have conversations with my partner about like, hey, you know what? I think you're being a wet blanket here. And sometimes calling it out in a loving way and saying like, hey, you know, this isn't working for me. I'm ready to grow. Like, are you ready to step on board and up level with me? Or are you willing to stay a wet blanket and stay miserable forever? So, you know, that becomes their choice. But the best thing you can do is be your shining light, do what's good for you. And sometimes it's good to also talk about it, right? Conversations are not as scary as people think they are. Sometimes they're really healthy and lead to magnificent breakthroughs. So I wish you all the best. If anyone's going through this, let's share some support in the chat box. I'd love to open up a dialogue about this. And if you are ready to step more fully into your power, I'd love to invite you to get on a call to talk with me. I have some amazing things brewing. I've got a free webinar this week in 2 days, depending on when you're watching this video. I'd love for you to join. I'll put the links in below. And I am really stepping the fuck up into a new vibration, and I'm asking who wants to come with me because I've got some really great curriculum and things in store, all of the things I've been studying for the last decade: psychology, art therapy, drama therapy, holistic nutrition, shamanism. I've got a lot of tools and I'm creating an amazing program. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about it in the next couple of days. I like to keep things a secret until I let them all out. But the cat's out of the bag. It's time to fucking shift up and step up into our next level. So if you resonate with this, I'd love to chat more. But please attend the webinar and I'll share a little bit more about the gifts that I have for you. A bunch of free stuff on the webinar too, guys. Some really good stuff. I'm making this for you. This is my gift to you. So please show up. I'll send you some links below. And big hugs to everyone who is nurturing those relationships and nurturing self. Always remember, put your gas mask on first, right? Like the oxygen mask. That's an oxygen mask. Yeah. Put that on first and then help others. But be true to yourself. You can only do what's best for you, and the other person has to be ready to make those shifts. And the best thing you can do is be a role model, shine your light. And sometimes that means shining the light into where they need to grow in a very loving way. So I wish you all the best. My heart goes out to you and all of you. Bye.